Okay, so we're going to work on factoring this out. So what we want to do first is recall that x to the 1/3 squared is the same thing as x to the 2/3. So again, the power rule states that anything raised to another power, we multiply. So note 2 times 1/3 gives me 2/3. Okay, so once I get that, the reason why I want to say x to the 1/3 and x to the 1/3 here, the reason I rewrote x to the 2/3 is x to the 1/3, is that I'm going to do some substitution. So I'm going to let a letter, I'm going to use p, let p equal x to the 1/3, which is just a fancy way of saying every time I see x to the 1/3, I'm going to replace it with the letter p. So now I'm left with p squared plus 3p minus 10. Again, x to the 1/3, both of these x to the 1/3 are now p. Okay? And the reason why we do this is because looking at p squared plus 3p minus 10 is fairly easy to factor. We know that p times p is p squared. We know 5 times 2 is 10, and then we know that if you put a plus and a minus, you get 3. So note 5 minus 2 gives me the 3p. Okay, so we factored out. We set each part equal to 0, and then we solve. So we get p equals to -5 and p equals 2. Now, to finish the question off, remember, we are not solving for p, we are solving for x. So I have to take this value of p, which is x to the 1/3, and I can rewrite p as x to the 1/3. And again, if I want to get rid of the 1/3, I just raise it to the 3, because the rule is that 1/3 times 3, when you raise to another power, you multiply. So this gives me x is equal to -5 times -5 times -5, which is -125. And on this side, I'm left with 8. So x is equal to -125, or x is equal to 8. And there's your answer.